objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. One moment. All right, sir, while this case is pending, you have no contact with the address on Lobster Road involved here. Is that clear to you? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Additionally, you're not to possess a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. Court will set bond at $50,000 personal. Next court dates will be February 6th for probable cause conference, February 13th for preliminary exam, both in front of Judge Jefferson here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside.
The next. Nope.
Thank you, sir. This is case 16046-335, State of Michigan versus Chantez Granger Council. I'm sorry, what? Anyone at all?
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Chantez Granger. My client waives his right to the formal reading and will stay on mute.
I can hear you, sir.
I'm sorry, you can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
That was Mr. Granger that said it, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Granger, can you hear me or not hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right, court will enter a not guilty plea on your client's behalf. There's a $5,000 cash surety capious in the file from May of 2018. As to bond.
Your Honor, I don't know how Mr. Granger came to be in custody today. We wouldn't object to having a tether in lieu of money bond. This does date back to 2016, but it is assaultive, Your Honor. So we wouldn't object to it being made personal, but would request a tether.
Respectfully, Your Honor, my client was the passenger of a traffic stop, and that's how he got in custody today. But we're not objecting to the personal bond. We're just asking for no tether. He understands he had to show up to court. He was going through multiple difficulties, including his father passing away. At the time, money got cut off. His money got cut off in 2018. He wasn't having to wait to court. Just multiple difficulties, Your Honor, which aren't excuses, but that's the reasons. That's the reasons behind it. He understands that regardless of what's going on in his life, he has to show up to court, ensure that he's responsible about his court dates. And we're just asking for a personal no tether, Your Honor.
Thank you. Just looking through the file, it appears there were multiple capiouses and at least one allegation of violation of probation. Did your client's father pass away?
What year was it when your father passed away, Mr. Granger?
2006. Y'all hear me, sir?
No, I didn't. What year was that?
2006.
This case arose in 2016, some 10 years after that. Mr. Bird, you want to, I want to be sensitive to any death of a family member, but you want to address that, Mr. Bird?
I do understand your concern.
I can't hear y'all. I cannot hear what's going on.
How did that affect you with not showing up to court in 2016?
I called, not 2016, 2018. I called my PO and she never gave me a call back or anything. I left a voicemail and everything.
All right, I am going to put a GPS tether on at least until the next hearing. Maybe that judge will take it off. It'll be unrestricted as to time and place, but we need you to show up, sir. Additionally, you're
Yes,
going to
sir.
have no contact with the complaining witness, and the court will set bond at $10,000 personal. Your next court date is February 10th for a review hearing in front of Judge Jones here in 36th District Court. Thank you, sir. You can step aside. What'd you say?
What was that date again? One more time for me, please.
February 10th.
Thank you.
All right, sir, you can step aside.
Yes, sir.
And excuse me, Your Honor, if you could please ask DDC to bring Mr. Kemp to the screen so we can interview Mr. Kemp.
On what camera?
Camera 4, please.
DDC, can you bring Mr. Kemp to camera 4, please?
Is there a camera here?
Now, Your Honor.
Yep, as soon as I get through signing this, Magistrate Burton will come and take the rest of the docket. All right, sounds good. Both of those were personals.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing.
Okay, yeah. Water. All right, are you Robert Thomas, sir? Are you Robert Thomas?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, are we ready on Mr. Thomas?
Yeah,
I know you are, Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas is retained, Your Honor.
Who's your attorney, Mr. Thomas? Who's
My attorney.
your attorney, Mr. Thomas?
I think you said Brett Jaffe.
Okay, you said, does Mr. Jaffe know about today's court date?
yeah, he should know about it.
Okay,
I retain the case.
okay.
Is the president,
What are you looking for? I just had them.
We don't have a file for Hollis.
We don't, there's coughing right here on
I
top.
mean, we don't have a file for that.
Okay. I'm sorry? Okay. All right, what's your name? Say it slowly, please.
Maurice Buckley.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Buckley. This is case number 250-5555-701. Houston, Michigan versus Levon Maurice Buckley. Appearances, please.
Morning, Your Honor. Mr. Byrd, good morning. Samuel A. Ragnan, P23A157 on behalf of the people.
Good morning again, Your Honor, and good morning, Mr. Ragnar. Brandon Bird, on behalf of Levon Buckley, my client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
The court will enter a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Buckley. Bond argument from the people?
Well, yeah, people are remand in this case. This is a CSC case, multiple charges of it. This incident happened allegedly back on 7/20 of 2012. At that time, a rape kit was put together, but they did not know who, in fact, the defendant was. Subsequently, this defendant was arrested for something else, and his DNA matched the rape kit. And the incident occurred, Your Honor, when the complaining witness was with a girlfriend. They went to a bar. She couldn't find her girlfriend. She went outside to look for her, and this defendant allegedly and another man pulled her around the back and raped her, penis to vagina, Your Honor. She obviously was very upset and crying. She called a friend on the phone, the girl. They picked her up, took her to the hospital, and that's when the rape kit, of course, was put together. She said that a gun was put to her head.
Mr. Ragnar, this is a question. This alleged incident occurred in 2012. When did the CODIS hit occur?
Well, it says here that they completed it, Code Association on August 7th, 2020, but on November 11th, 2022, they were tracking for documentation purpose.
Okay.
All
right, and you're asking, I'm sorry, Mr. Ragnar, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Nothing further, Jan. I just think it's a disgusting, terrible crime, and I think a remand is appropriate.
Okay, Mr. Bird?
Extensive record as well, which I'm not going to get into.
Thank you, Mr. Ragnar. Mr. Bird?
45-year-old lifelong resident in Yana, indicates to us that he has 4 children, lives with his mother. He works at a salon and does landscaping. Respectfully, Your Honor, my client indicates to us that he doesn't have any assaultive criminal convictions. No assaultive criminal convictions. He is maintaining his innocence in this matter. The weird part about these drug tests that sit around so long, I'm not sure about. I'm really not sure about the validity of these drug tests. I mean, not drug tests, but these tests that are done on DNA tests that are done within 12 to 14 years later. Then almost 11 years later, Your Honor. But my client's going to have his day in court. I do understand these are very assaultive allegations. He does look forward to fighting these allegations. He's taking this matter serious. He's not trying to run from this matter. Respectfully, we're going to ask potentially for a personal bond. He does have. We are forthcoming with the court. He did do some time for drugs.
When?
In 2019, he did time for drugs until
how much time?
2 years, Your Honor, in which he eventually was discharged from parole with no violations. Discharged from parole with no violations, Your Honor. In 2000, he indicates he was discharged from parole in 2021 also. But no, it says he didn't have any violations, Your Honor. So we're not gonna say he has a clean record, but it's not one of this magnitude and one of this nature. And he doesn't have anything, he doesn't have any, he indicates to us there's nothing non-assault, there's nothing assaultive on his record. And like I said, I do understand these charges are these charges are very serious. But my client has proven, besides these allegations, that he can be that he isn't a threat to the community or assaultive to the community. And we haven't heard any capious history based on the fact that if he's going to be a flight risk.
Mr. Byrd, one last question. Is he employed?
He is. He works various hours. He works two jobs, Your Honor. He works at a salon and he does landscaping.
Okay. I'm not going to remand him due to the age of the case. But I do think a cash bond is required in this situation for the following reasons. The reason why, as has well been documented in the media, there has been a backlog and a room in the Detroit Police Department of rape kits that were not tested. Prosecutor Kim Worthy got some money, grant money, and then as those rape kits were being tested, and then the CODIS hits came later. Now, that's just a fact. I'm not casting blame on anybody, but that's a part of the reason. It's been well documented, public record, that's why particularly rape cases like these were late in being prosecuted. I do find that he is a danger to the complaining witness, like I said, but I don't think it rises to the level of remand. But I am going to give him a cash bond. Based on these allegations, I do find him potentially a danger to the complaining witness and possibly others. So it'll be $100,000 cash surety. GPS tether, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew if he's able to post bond. No contact with Amara Sabri, and no contact with cannot go back to the West Warren address where this incident allegedly occurred. Bond redetermination will be Monday, February 3rd, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConico. Probable cause February 6th in front of Judge Jack Hay. Preliminary examination February 12th in front of Judge Jack Hay. Anything else either counsel wants to put on the record?
Nothing
What was
further.
the determination here, Your Honor?
Monday, February 3rd.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Is the 100,000 10% or 100,000 cash?
$100,000 cash surety. Step aside, sir.
So no 10%, $100,000.
No 10%. You got that right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How do I get my lawyer number?
Yeah, contact.
All right, counsel, how can I help you? Unmute, counsel.
Sorry, Judge. Do you have a Julian alias, ALIAS at all in your docket this morning? Julian, first name?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll check back in the afternoon. Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Give me one moment, please.
Let's take right here. Oh, stay right now? Yeah, he said. Yeah, that's my guy. I can add my message. In the Zoom? No. No, they don't like it on YouTube. no charge, but they said it's supposed to be going on to me. Because they called me yesterday and said I.
As I'm going to jail, I'm trying to get a hold of Brett Jaffe, his client's on Zoom, just waiting for him. It's Andrew, the school presenter. I'm on with one of Brent's clients, Robert Thomas. He's scheduled for 36 district arraignment. The judge is on my way for him. Robert Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we write the last guy here.
Electrician. Contact. Electrician. Contact. You can contact 36 District Court arraignment. I can give you their phone number. You can see if you can get put over until tomorrow, or you can call them. I can't make any calls because they're scheduling, you know what I'm saying? But I can give you.
Okay,
313.
Mr. Thomas?
No, I mean, it's, Mr. Green.
I'm not talking to you. There's Mr. Thomas on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thomas, we're reaching out to your attorney right now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, gentlemen at DDC, what is your name? Joshua Green? Is that your name, sir? Joshua Green?
Yes.
Okay. No, Mr. Green, we're just having some technical challenges in terms of hearing. And oftentimes people can't hear me and I can't hear you. So it's no fault of your own.
Okay.
All right. This is case number 250-550-9201. Case of Michigan versus Joshua Green. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Joshua Green. My client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
The court will not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Green. Given the nature of the charges, like criminal history and objection to personal bond.
No, Your Honor, people are going to ask for a high personal bond, no $50,000. And the reason for this is that the defendant had a PCW case dismissed 3/12/21 with juvenile adjudication. And then this time when he was stopped, the gun he had a 50 caliber, a 50 bullet magazine, drum magazine on this gun. So I asking for a higher personal.
Mr. Bird.
I'm gonna just say no objection to the personal, Your Honor. I don't believe it needs to be higher.
$10,000 personal bond, Mr. Green. While this case is pending, you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. Probable cause February 6th for the Judge Kevin Robbins. Preliminary examination, February 13th, in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Terray Ward.
Are you Mr. Ward?
I am.
All right, Ward, okay. This is case number 250-554-5001. Peterson said Michigan versus Terray Ward. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Bird on behalf of Terray Ward, my client, waives his right to formal reading and to stand mute.
The court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Ward. Bond recommendation, Ms. Douglas.
Your Honor, on Mr. Ward, the people are asking for a bond of 15,000 cash or surety and no weapons or assault of harassing or intimidating conduct. Your Honor, we do recognize this is from about 3 or 4 months ago. However, given the allegations, this would appear to be a story of road rage, strangers involved. And here, there, based on the report, there was a minor child who I believe is 12 in the complaining witness's car, and then apparently Mr. Ward's children were in his car, Your Honor, which makes us particularly concerned. The trooper here did in fact find a firearm in Mr. Ward's car. My understanding is he is a CPL holder, but that would not give him the permission to wave a gun because of road rage, Your Honor. There would be no reason for this complaining witness to know that Mr. Ward had a firearm in his car unless she saw it. So, Your Honor, we do have concerns about any future road rage incidents that could happen based on these allegations. That's why we're asking for the bond of 15,000 cash or surety. If this was more recent, I'd be asking for a higher amount.
Mr. Byrd.
Come on, Your Honor.
He's like, yeah, what do you use? I'm like, that's us.
Yeah, my client's sticking to his side of the story. Right now, we got 2 sides of the story, Your Honor. And that's gonna be hashed out at a later date, but 30-year-old lifelong resident, 5 children of his own, indicates to us that he lives with his parents and his 2 daughters, as his 2 daughters. And actually, like he said, he was in the car at that time. Respectfully, if he does have a CPO, it shows that he's been able to be responsible with most of his life. And these are just allegations right now anyway. So he doesn't have any convictions, not on probation or parole, no pending cases. Unfortunately, he does have a couple of physical issues in which he needs medication, and which he did say he received them. So if we can just make sure that the file is stay marked medical, I appreciate it. But respectfully, we're going to ask this court for a personal bond in this matter. My client, first of all, doesn't have any reason to contact the complaining witness. He's proven for 30 years of his life that he hasn't been a threat to the community. And I don't believe we should consider him a threat to the community at this moment because of these allegations, because he's not found guilty of them. So respectfully, that's what we're going to ask for. We're going to ask for a personal bond in this matter, Your Honor. Not a flight risk. Everything he has is in Detroit.
Okay, Mr. Byrd. Mr. Byrd, I got it. Court haven't heard argument as to bond. And you are correct, Mr. Byrd, as you always like to remind the court, these are mere allegations and he's presumed innocent. And that he is true, that is true. And you also say that there are at least two sides to every story. I'm going to give your client the benefit of the doubt and give him a personal bond in this matter. The fact that he is a CPO holder, has no criminal history, and by reading the allegations, at taking at face value, there's more to this story than meets the eye on paper. And I'm pretty sure the facts will be fleshed out at the later court dates. But I am gonna give him a $50,000 personal bond, no GPS tether. Two conditions though. I don't want you to do any driving, and you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons while this case is pending. Probable cause February 7th, preliminary examination February 14th, Valentine's Day in front of Judge Taylor. And also, as Mr. Byrd indicated, no contact with Michelle Perkins. That shouldn't be an issue since you don't know her. Step aside, sir. Okay, Mr. Jaffe.
Good morning, Your Honor. My good. Can you hear me?
Okay, I see a split screen.
That's yes, Your Honor. That's my assistant. I thought I wanted to make her feel as if she was a defendant, but she's not going for it.
Okay, no, I just want a clarification.
I'm here.
Mr. Thomas? At the Wayne County Jail? Mr. Jaffe, do you need a breakout room with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. At Wayne County Jail? Okay. I'm gonna put you both in the breakout room.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen at the DDC, state your name slowly, please.
Brandon Bowley.
All right, this is case number 230-576-0901. Peterson, Michigan versus Brandon Bowditch. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Byrd on behalf of Brandon Bowditch. The client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
Court will not guilty plea on behalf of your client. Bond recommendation from the people.
Your Honor, this does date to 2023. Given that Mr. Bowditch appears to be on federal supervision, I'm not going to object to $35,000 personal at this time, given the age of the case.
No objection, Your Honor.
$35,000 personal bond, Mr. Bowditch. No driving. Probable cause February 6th, plenary examination February 12th, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, please.
Okay.
February 6th, February 12th. What's your name, sir? State it slowly.
Andreas Hudson.
Okay, give me one moment.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is case number 250-552-4001. People City, Michigan versus Andreas Hudson. Appearances, please.
My mistake.
I'm sorry. No, that's
Hey.
me. Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Byrd on behalf of Andreas Hudson. My client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Hudson. Bond recommendation from the people.
Your Honor, Mr. Hudson, he is facing a serious felony offense. We do have some concerns for safety, but Your Honor, if there was tethered house arrest, I do believe that that would sufficiently address the concerns, but we'd ask for a higher personal bond if there's tethered house arrest. Otherwise, we believe that a money bond would be appropriate.
Ms. Douglas, just a follow-up question. Any contacts with the criminal justice system since 2021?
Let me see. I know he doesn't have Otis or anything on Otis, but let me see if there have been any warrant requests. No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Byrd, briefly.
I mean, in respect to this happened back in 2021, the complaining witness actually had a restraining order on the defendant in which he hasn't had any issues with that restraining order, and we haven't been presented with any issues in which he had contact with the complaining witness or even contact with the police in this matter. Nothing's been presented to us, so respectfully, we're gonna ask the court just for a personal bond with no tether.
I would agree with you, Mr. Byrd. Given the age of the case, there doesn't seem to be any issues since 2021. $35,000 personal bond. While his case is pending, you're not possessing handguns, firearms, or other dangerous weapons. No contact with Martika Johnson. Can I go back to the Archdale address where this incident allegedly occurred? Probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 13th, both in front of Judge Giles. Step aside, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Get your name slowly, sir. All right, Mr. Loman, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants, give you a personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters. It carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. And a right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney. One will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are P1337350. Driver license suspended, and ticket 277470, expired license. You're in a personal bond or dollar amount in each of these misdemeanor traffic matters. Pretrial March 6th in front of Judge Perkins. Now to your main matter. It's case number 220-448-1101. Houston, Michigan versus Trevon Loman. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Ragland for the people, Your Honor.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Byrd on behalf of Trevon Loman. My client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Loman. Given the age of this case, Mr. Ragnar, what's your bond recommendation?
$10,000 per.
No objection, Your Honor.
Byrd?
No objection, Your Honor.
$10,000 personal bond. No contact with Melanie Clemens, no contact with the Myers address where this incident allegedly occurred. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pretrial, February 10th, in front of Judge Jones. You can step aside, please. State your name slowly, sir.
Devontae Lee.
All right, Mr. Lee, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for, sir. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants for your personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are U599-98521, loitering. Ticket U56555420, enter a vacant building without owner's permission. Ticket P13264748, driver license suspended. Pretrial, March 6th, from the Judge Sean Perkins in this matter. Now to your main matter. This is case number 240-453-4801, Pearson, Michigan versus Devontae Rashad Lee. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Devontae Lee. My client waives his right to the formal reading and stay on mute.
Court will continue a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Lee. Mr. Bird, why should I not continue the $2,000 cash surety bond set by Judge Jones for capias of the pretrial November 4th of last year?
I respectfully, Your Honor, my client indicated to us that he just recently got a phone and then he didn't have a ride to get to court. He didn't have a ride to get to court when he found out that he could show up in court. Respectfully, we're just asking for a chance on this. My client knows there's no excuse. And I did discuss to him, regardless phone or not, if he doesn't have a ride, he have to catch the bus, Your Honor. So respectfully, we're just asking for a chance on this.
He didn't have a phone and he didn't have a ride. Did I hear you correctly?
That's exactly what he indicates to us.
Is he employed?
Unfortunately, he's not. He's homeless.
Ms. Douglas?
Your Honor, here we have a situation where it looks like you arraigned him on October 21st to 24, and I know you would have told him to show up for court, and yet we have him not appearing for the very first court date. And I don't know how he came to be in the custody, but it doesn't. But unless he turned himself in, it wouldn't appear that he was actually trying to take care of this, Your Honor. So we would ask that either that money bond stay in place, or for there to be a tether, one or the other. You gave him a $50,000 personal bond when you arraigned him, and he was given a chance when you did that. So we believe that something additional needs to be done in order to ensure his appearance.
I agree with you, Ms. Douglas. I'm going to continue to keep his bond set by Judge Jones in this matter. I know he was given the court dates. The excuses are hard to fathom.
Yes, sir. I think the case, I thought the court thing was on Zoom. That's I didn't have a phone then. I thought, I had to do it through Zoom. So I didn't understand for the last case I was on, but I recently got a phone now. And recently.
When'd you get a phone? When'd you get a phone?
I got a phone like 2 weeks ago. Like 2 weeks ago.
How'd you get picked up?
I finally made contact with my mother. I'm finally making arrangements with them. And it's been forever until these court cases came up, so I will have a ride this time. And I got a phone, I can arrange a ride and everything.
All right, bond redetermination, Monday, February 3rd, 9 a.m. from the Chief Justice Conoco. Pre-trial, February 10th, in front of Judge Jones. No contact with Solomon Top. Step aside, sir.
And how much was that bond, Your Honor? 2K?
2K cash, surety. Step aside, sir. State your name slowly, sir. State your name slowly.
Christopher Alexander Henge.
All right, Mr. Henge, you have some traffic matters in which you failed to appear in court for, sir. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants for your personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters. It carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail. and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And the right to the attorney, can afford attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. The ticket is U-68670-424, loitering. Pre-trial March 5th in front of Judge Millhouse in this matter. Appearances from counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ragnar?
Samuel A. Ragnar for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Christopher Hingy. My client waived his right to the formal reading and stand mute. This is a KPS from the Honorable Judge Jefferson, in which this court already informed us that Judge Jefferson will not be coming down to hear this matter out.
Yeah, so it'll be $2,000 cash 10%. Bond redetermination. Bond redetermination will be Monday. Just listen. Bond redetermination will be Monday, February 3rd, in front of Chief Judge McConaughey. Probable cause February 7th, preliminary examination February 14th in front of Judge Jefferson. You have any questions regarding your bond and or court dates?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. I was just detained in Macomb County Jail since October 29th, and I had sent a writ out to you guys to get.
What is your question? That is a statement.
Yes, I had just paid for a tether to get out of Macomb County to return to work. And is there any way I could get on personal bond with you guys to communicate?
Mr. Hingy, my staff contacted the judge of record, Judge Jefferson, and asked her if she wanted to log in and hear your bond, basically hear your bond hearing on this matter. She indicated to the court that she wants the bond to stay as it is, and you have a bond redetermination on Monday. Step aside, sir.
So how much is my bond?
$2,000, 10%.
Yeah.
Can you give me 1 second, Your Honor, please? Well, not 1 second.
I'll give you 2 seconds.
Thank you.
Your Honor, you're working this weekend by chance?
No. You want me to?
Yeah, why not?
All right, give me 1 moment. Yeah. All right, as the bird landed back. All right, so gentlemen at DDC, state your name slowly, please.
Charles Blessing.
All right, this is case number 250555901. People State of Michigan versus Charles Blessed. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Charles Blessed. My client waives his right to formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights to stand mute.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Blessed. Argument from the people.
Your Honor, Mr. Blessed, the people wouldn't object to a 50,000 personal. We are asking for tethering a curfew. I do recognize that the address listed here is his address. However, if he has a tether curfew that allows only for work, it could reduce the likelihood that he is able to get another gun. Your Honor, it is alleged that several guns were found inside of his home when he is not eligible to possess a single gun. Your Honor, which is leading to his multiple charges for person in possession, Your Honor. Then we have him with an inordinate amount of crack and fentanyl. Looks like over 80 packages of each of those. So, Your Honor, we do have some concerns for safety of the public. We are asking for 50,000 personal, but tethered with a curfew to ensure safety.
Mr. Byrd, please address the issue of tether.
I mean, I didn't hear any reason about, I didn't hear that he has any KPS history and won't show up to court. And I can't say that, he is a danger to the community. These are non-assaultive allegations, Your Honor.
SP 133-735-01.
Is that it, Mr. Byrd?
That's it, Your Honor. Lifelong resident.
Okay. I just want to make. No. We're good. $50,000 personal bond. Oh, one other thing, Mr. Byrd, is he employed?
He is, Your Honor. He does labor work.
Run his name.
Okay. $50,000 personal bond. While his case is pending, you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. He'll be fitted with a GPS tether. 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 13th, both in front of Judge Giles. Step aside, sir. What is your name, sir? State it slowly.
Raymond Willis.
This is case number 250-442-0801. Peterson, Michigan versus Raymond Willis. Mr. Jaffe?
Yes.
I'm gonna call your case next after this gentleman.
Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Thomas, make sure you can unmute. Okay. Mr. Willis, this is case number 250-442-0801. Houston, Michigan versus Raymond Willis. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
And yes, Your Honor, Brandon Byrd on behalf of Raymond Willis, my client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of your client. Bond recommendation from the people.
Your Honor, Mr. Willis, the people wouldn't object to a 25,000 personal. We would ask for no contact with the location or the complaining witness. We believe there may be possibly some mental health needs here. Your Honor, we would note that I did see that Mr. Willis has a pending case out of Taylor District Court for DV. However, he's never been arraigned on it. That had a date of offense back October 19th of 23. Looks like it was authorized June of 24, but he hasn't been arraigned on it. So that's another incident that he would need to address. But Your Honor, we wouldn't object to 25,000 personal as long as there's no contact with the location or the complaining witness.
No objection. No objection, Your Honor. We're just asking for a one-time police escort so he can get his belongings.
Okay. $25,000 personal bond. No contact with Ernest Baker. You're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons. Can I go back to the Birdwood address? I will allow a one-time visit with a police escort to get your belongings. Pre-trial, February 10th in front of Judge Bryant.
And Your Honor, after Mr. Jaffe, is there any way that we can handle the walk-in, please?
Yes. Is Mr. Boyd? Okay, we spoken to him already?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Boyd, step up to the podium. All right, Mr. Thomas, state your name.
Robert Christopher Thomas.
All right. This is case number 240-559-2201. People State of Michigan versus Robert Thomas. Appearances, please. Mr.
Henry Randy
Jaffe.
for the people, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Jaffe?
I'm Jack Jaffe on behalf of Mr. Thomas.
Okay. Wait for my reading, stand mute.
No, Your Honor, I'd ask that the complaint be read.
Okay. Bear with me. Count 1, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, multiple variables. Did engage in sexual penetration to wit penis to genital opening with Letitia Starr Brooks under the following circumstances. Defendant was armed with a weapon or any article used to fashion in a manner to lead the victim to reasonably believe it to be a weapon, and or defendants aided and abetted one another and affected sexual penetration through force, coercion, and or during the commission of felony unlawful imprisonment, contrary to MCL 750.520B. Sorrow notice. This is a tier 3 offense under Sex Offender Registry Act unless the court finds that the victim was between the ages of 13 to 15 inclusive, consented to the conduct, and the defendant was no more than 4 years older than the victim under MCL 28.722, Roman numeral 5, Roman numeral 4. Take notice that HIV STD testing notice. Take notice that pursuant to MCL 333.5129, upon bind over the circuit court, the district judge shall order the defendant to be tested for venereal disease, hepatitis B infection, and for the presence of HIV or an antibody to HIV. If the judge determines there is reason to believe the violation involves sexual penetration or exposure to a body fluid of the defendant. If the district judge determines that testing is not required upon the conviction, the court must order the defendant to be tested. This is a felony, life offense, mandatory lifetime electronic monitoring, mandatory AIDS, STD testing. The court may impose a consecutive sentence under MCL 750.520, small b, paren 3. Count 2, criminal sexual conduct, first degree, multiple variables. Did engage in sexual penetration to a penis to genital opening with Letitia Starr Brooks under the following circumstances. Defendant was armed with a weapon or any article used to fashion in a manner to lead the victim to reasonably believe it to be a weapon, and or defendants aided and abetted one another, effected sexual penetration through force or coercion, and or during the commission of felony unlawful imprisonment, contrary to MCL 750.520, small b. Sorrow notice. This is a tier 3 offense on the Sex Offender Registry Act unless the court finds that the defendant, that the victim was between the ages of 13 to 15 inclusive, consented to the conduct, and the defendant was no more than 4 years older than the victim under MCL 728.722, Roman numeral 5, Roman numeral 4. HIV STD testing notice. Take notice that pursuant to MCL 333.5129, upon bind over the circuit court, the district judge shall order the defendant to be tested for venereal disease, hepatitis B infection, and for the presence of HIV or an antibody to HIV if the judge determines there is reason to believe the violation involves sexual penetration or exposure to a bodily fluid of the defendant. If the district judge determines that testing is not required upon the conviction, the court must order the defendant to be tested. This is a life offense, mandatory electronic monitoring, mandatory AIDS STD testing. Court may impose consecutive sentence on the MCL 750.520B, paren 3. All right, that concludes the reading of the complaint in this matter. Argument as to bond from the people.
Your Honor, I would just indicate before we begin that my client will stand mute to both charges.
Okay. The court went a not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Thomas. Bond argument from the people.
Well, people are going to be asking for remand, Your Honor. It's a very serious matter. As the court's noted, the defendant knew the complaining witness by saying hello and meeting her at a bar. Nothing further than that. She walked to a bar this one particular
Your Honor, if I may, before we begin, this prosecutor, in my experience, constantly tries his case at the arraignment, and I don't think that that's relevant for purposes of asking for a bond.
Well, Mr. Jaffe, I disagree because it's important that the magistrate's aware of all
Mr. Ragnon,
things that
Mr.
happen.
Ragnon,
Just want to
Mr.
mention.
Ragnon,
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Ragnon. You're asking for a remand.
I am.
Please don't go into the facts of the case. Your
Okay.
basis for the remand, is he a danger to the community, danger to complaint witness, or is it flight risk? Focus on those two aspects.
He's an extreme danger to the community, Your Honor. He has a second case that CODIS found with another person back on 1/26/23 that was also allegedly raped at that time. And the DNA sample CODIS shows both of those as to this defendant, Your Honor. So he was not able to be found back in 2023 when they were looking for him. But Your Honor, the DNA analysis is accurate, obviously, I believe, and that he is an extreme danger, and a remand, I believe, is necessary in this.
Okay, Mr. Jaffe, before you proceed with your argument, I have your client as a Florida resident. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor, for the past 7 years.
Okay, proceed with your argument, Mr. Jaffe.
Your Honor, my client is has been a resident of Ocala, Florida for the past 7 years. He's a train conductor with Con Rail, with Con Yelbington. Your Honor, from speaking with my client, he informs me that the date of this alleged offense was 25 years ago, not from 2023.
That
And
is correct.
all right, and between 2001 and today's date, candidly, there was a possession of cocaine charge, and I think in 2006 there may have been a larceny at that time. And he received probation. My client informs me, Your Honor, that at the time he was interviewed by the detectives, he was released. And this is the first notice that he has had of these pending matters until now. I mean, Your Honor, we have been involved in the extradition proceedings, and but again, he had no information other than what occurred back 25 years ago. He has been in Michigan. He has been in Michigan until 2019 or 2018, and then to Florida. This is the first that he has heard. Again, he's a resident of Florida. He has a family, a child of 5 years old. He owns a home. He's gainfully employed. Your Honor, I would urge the court to grant Mr. Thomas a personal bond that he be allowed to return to Florida pending further proceedings, or at a minimum with a tether. But there's no indication that he is a flight risk based upon the representation that I have made, and that's what he told me this morning as far as his personal circumstances.
2 points, Your Honor, if I may.
No, Mr. Ragnar. I got a follow-up question for Mr. Jaffe.
Okay.
Mr. Jaffe, how did your client get picked up in the Wayne County Jail today?
Well, he was arrested in Florida.
And then extradited to Michigan?
Pardon? You know, there's so much confusion. I'm sorry, I can't hear the question.
No. Trust me, it goes both ways. My question, my inquiry was he arrested in Florida and extradited to Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
He was extradited, I believe, yesterday.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ragnar. You got 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I said the second case was in 2023 against the victim, who I'm not going to put her name out here on the record, that's unable to be found at this point. His DNA matched both cases for alleged two rapes, Your Honor, okay? Second of all, Your Honor, this incident that happened here was 1/26/23 on the second case, okay? So, Your Honor, this defendant may be living in Florida, but he could be a second time here because the DNA was confirmed.
Hold on.
With the second.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ragnar.
was
I'm
confirmed.
sorry, repeat what you just said.
I just said he may spend time in Florida or live there, but he spends time in Michigan as well because the DNA on the rape kit for the second victim on 12623 is positive for this defendant, Your Honor. So there's two cases of allegedly of rapes of CSC1s against this defendant by two different people, although one of them cannot be found at this point, Your Honor. Thank you.
One of the victims, you said?
Pardon me?
You said one of the victims can't, you said?
Yes.
One of the victims of one of the cases?
The victim on the 12623 case, she apparently has a substance abuse problem now, and her parents said they're not quite sure. So.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Court, having heard argument as to bond. Mr. Jaffe, you do bring up a good point. These allegations are still like 25 years ago. But they are serious allegations, and he's been extradited to Michigan. I am not going to remand him per the people's request, but I am going to give him a $500,000 cash surety bond.
Right, will you consider it 10%?
Well, you'll have that opportunity at the bond redetermination hearing on Monday. No contact with Latasha Brooks. Bond redetermination be February 3rd, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConicle. And for two reasons, I find this cash surety bond needed. One, that he lives in Florida, and I think there's a potential to be a flight risk. And secondarily, I think he is a danger to the community at large, but particularly Ms. Brooks in this matter. And so those are the reasons why I do feel a cash surety bond is needed in this case. Like I said, it doesn't look like he waived extradition either, unless otherwise, and he had to get extradited to Michigan. So I believe there's to assure his appearance in court in Michigan for these charges. I believe that $500,000 cash bond is required.
Your Honor,
again,
pardon me, Your Honor, I would just one correction based upon the information that I have. Mr. Thomas did waive extradition.
Okay, that's why I said let's stand corrected. But it nonetheless doesn't change the court's findings. I do believe that he potentially is a flight risk given his residence in Florida. Probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 12th, both in front of Judge Jack Kay. Mr. Jaffe, again, bond determination will be Monday, February 3rd, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConicle, and you get to argue for a lower bond and or 10% bond. Is there anything else either counsel wants to put on the record?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Or nothing other than my client, asserts his innocence and that he will appear for all appearances based upon what he has done in Florida for the past 7 years. His job is in his family.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jaffe.
Thank you, Robert. I'll come and see you.
All right. All right. Okay, sir, in the courtroom, state your name.
Calvin Boyd.
All right. This is case number 250-440-2501. People say Michigan versus Kelvin Boyd. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Byrd on behalf of Kelvin Boyd. Our client waived his right to the formal reading and was advised his constitutional rights.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Boyd. Bond recommendation from the people.
People are asking, this is a 2015 case. We're asking for a $5,000.
$5,000 personal?
Yes.
No objection, Your Honor.
$5,000 personal bond, Mr. Boyd. No alcohol. No driving without a valid driver's license. Pre-trial, February 10th in front of Judge Bryant. Have a seat in the courtroom, wait for your paperwork. All right, DDC, who do you have next? Oh, now it's quiet. Hello, DDC. Who's playing Christmas with me? Okay. State your name slowly, sir.
Mario Travis.
All right, Mr. Travis, you have some traffic matters in which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for your arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside those arrest warrants, give you a personal bond in each of these misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of 90 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. And then you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. Can't afford an attorney. One will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are N230314. Driver license suspended. No insurance. Ticket P1384780. Driver license suspended. Open alcohol in a vehicle. X3994979. Driver's license on person. Ticket U52642319. Remain in the park after closing. Ticket 435725. No driver's license on possession. Again, given a personal bond, no dollar amount, each of these misdemeanor matters. Pre-trial, March 6th in front of Judge Ramsey Heath. Now to your main matter. This is case number 250-555-6301. Houston, Michigan versus Mario Travis. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Ragnan for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Byrd on behalf of Mario Travis. Our client waives his right to the formal reading, was advised his constitutional rights, and will stand mute.
All right, the court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Travis. Bond argument, Mr. Ragnar.
Well, yeah, this is a very serious matter. The defendant is alleged, and also he's on camera from Family Dollar, driving at a probably high rate of speed and striking a person, and then fleeing from the area. There was another car behind the defendant that was following him, and the report indicates they went many different streets, followed him together, and then he ended up at home. They ended up getting a search warrant for the residence, and they found
Mr. Ragnar, I got it. I signed it this morning. I reviewed the facts.
Okay.
You don't have to summarize them for me. What is your bond recommendation?
Bond recommendation is 50,000 cash surety, able to post a bond, tether, home arrest, and no driving.
What was the dollar amount you requested, Mr. Ragnar?
$50,000 cash.
Okay. One moment, Mr. Byrd. Mr. Poe?
Yes,
Good morning.
Judge. How are you?
How can I help you?
I have a Diamond Travis, female,
No, we had a Demario, Travis,
No, it's a
which we are
female.
doing, which we're doing now. Other than that, I don't have that name on my list for the morning.
You don't have any females?
I do have females, I just don't have her
Okay.
for the morning.
Diamond Travis. Let's see. Martin. Diamond Travis Martin.
Nope. I've got no diamonds
Okay.
and no Martins.
All right. Thank you so much.
You check back this afternoon, Mr. Pope.
I shall. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Byrd.
I'm 34-year-old lifelong resident, Your Honor. Indicates to us there has 4 children. Not on probation or parole, Your Honor. He is an electrician's assistant right now. His hours vary. He's trying to learn the trade, to become an electrician himself. My client indicates to us that he had no idea that he ever hit anybody. He looks forward to his day in court. He's not a flight risk. He's not a flight risk, and I don't believe him to be a threat to the community. This might be considered reckless or endangering, but I don't believe that we can consider it assaultive, Your Honor, at least intentionally assaultive. But respectfully, my client is maintaining his innocence until he has his day in court, and we're gonna ask this court potentially for a personal bond.
Okay. Mr. Byrd, you made me want to look up something, revisit something in the investigator's report. And if I recall correctly, and Mr. Ragnar, the vehicle he drove had some damage to it. Is that correct? Allegedly?
That's correct, Your Honor. They had to get a search warrant to search
Right.
the document.
Okay.
And the
I just wanted to
defendant
make sure.
admitted he was driving at the time.
Right. And so I just wanted to make sure I remember correctly upon reviewing this morning that there was damage to the vehicle. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ragnar.
Well,
All right. The court having heard argument as to bond. Does not look like Mr. Travis has a criminal, at least a felony criminal history. He allegedly shouldn't have been driving. He has a suspended license.
yeah, he has a pending case. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to mention that.
Go ahead, pending case on what?
He's got a pending case, CCW 12-18-24, circuit court discovery was sent out to the, I guess, defense attorney, charged with possession by a felony firearm, and HAB 2. His HAB 2 is 123.
Okay, I got it.
Too much.
I got it. You want to take me down the rabbit hole with you? No,
I got to learn to just stop. I understand. Yeah, I will. I'll do that.
I can help you with that.
No. I got the message.
Okay. All right. Okay. The court found this very, very troublesome in the fact that, one, allegedly, Mr. Travis should not have been driving in the first place. And then based on Mr. Byrd's, a statement made by Mr. Byrd in his request for a personal bond, that there was damage to the vehicle. So, and then reading the critical condition that the victim was in, alleged victim was in, he's a danger, and I don't believe he's going to abide by the court's ruling or the decision or bond condition that he's not going to drive. He shouldn't have been driving in the first place. So long as he's out here in the public, I don't believe he's not going to stop driving, at least on his own. And so I find that he's a danger to the community, given these serious allegations and the serious injury allegedly caused by Mr. Travis to this victim due to his reckless or negligent driving. So I will adopt the recommendation of the people, $50,000 cash surety. No driving. Is able to postpone GPS tether, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. Is this an unaffordable bond, Mr. Byrd?
Yeah, definitely,
Okay. Bond redetermination, Monday, February 3rd, 9 a.m. in front of Chief Judge McConaughey. Probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 13th, both in front of Judge Giles. Is there anything else either council wants to put on the record?
Nothing further.
Nothing further, yeah.
Okay, step aside, sir. Demario Travis. State your name slowly, sir.
Brown.
State your name slowly, sir.
Michael Brown.
Okay. Sorry, give me one moment.
Yeah. Taking them back. I'm saying that might not. You think you got in your guys to eat. Yeah, you know.
All right, Mr. Brown, this is case number 250-555-6401. Houston, Michigan versus Michael Brown. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748. Oh, we lost Mr. Byrd.
Oh, he'll be back one day.
Where do you go?
Your appearance, Mr. Byrd. This is Michael
Yes,
Brown.
Yes, Your Honor. Bernard Byrd, on behalf of Michael Brown, my client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
Or not guilty plea on behalf of Mr. Brown. Bond recommendation from the people.
Your Honor, Mr. Brown, the people were asking for a bond of 25,000 cash or surety and no contact. Your Honor, the people would inform the court that Mr. Brown has a pending case that was up for redetermination today. That was a DV case with the same complaining witness. That date of offense was November 19th of 24, and it was charged pretty soon after that. However, he was just recently arraigned on Tuesday for that. His bond at the time of arraignment was 10,000 cash surety at redetermination, it was increased to 25,000 cash with the tether. Your Honor, here we have two incident dates very close in time. Your Honor, and in this case, he's alleged to have admitted hitting the complaining witness in the head with a vacuum, and officers indicated that they saw injuries all over the complainant's face, including blood, swelling, and bruises. Your Honor, in the other case that was up for redetermination today, he's accused of punching the complaining witness in the head and then putting his blunt out on her forehead. And officers indicated that they saw a round mark on the complaining witness's forehead, which would corroborate that allegation. So we have very serious.
What was the dollar amount? What was the dollar amount you're asking?
25,000 cash or surety.
You said tether?
Yes, Your Honor.
Curfew or house arrest?
Your Honor, I would be at this time asking for curfew if he's working.
Okay. He's on the tether on the other case, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know what the restrictions are on the tether.
Okay. Well, I'm if I do choose to do a cash bond, I'm not gonna put two tethers on it. Okay. Anything else, Ms. Douglas?
That is it, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Byrd?
49-year-old lifelong resident, Your Honor. Indicates to us that unfortunately he's unemployed right now. Any amount of bond is going to be difficult for a client to pay. I did get a chance to read the report, and one thing that stuck out is that police did try multiple different points of contact for the complaining witness and multiple attempts, and were unable to contact the complaining witness. So I'm not sure that there is a conviction in this matter, because I'm not sure if the complaining witness is even trying to pursue this matter. But lifelong resident, Your Honor, 2 children. Respectfully, we're gonna ask this court potentially for a personal bond. The court's going to decline to a personal bond. Then a reasonable or low 10% bond seemed fit by the court, even though that would be unaffordable to my client. So ideally, a personal bond, Your Honor.
Okay, court haven't heard argument as to bond. Given the frequency of these cases, particularly one referenced by Ms. Douglas, bond redetermination this morning with the same complaining witness, I do find him a danger to the community. I want to adopt the recommendation of the people, $25,000 cash surety. While his case is pending, you're not to possess any handguns, firearms, other dangerous weapons, no contact with Shanita Watson. Can I go back to the Bethune address? As I noted earlier, I'm not going to put two tethers on him. He's already had a tether from the complete previous assault case. Bond redetermination be February 3rd, 9 a.m. from the Chief Judge Mechanical. Probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 12th, both in front of Judge Jack Hay. Step aside, sir.
The bond was a 20,000 cash.
That's correct.
So after today,
What is your name, sir? Stay slowly, speak slowly.
My name is Michael David Hognes.
All right. This is case number 240-591-4201. People say Michigan versus Michael David Hognes. Appearances, please.
Family Ragland, Your Honor, for the people.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Michael Hognes. My client waives his right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
Court order not guilty plea on behalf of your client. Bond recommendation from the people. Unmute, Mr. Ragnon. Unmute, Mr. Ragnon.
My apologies, Your Honor. People are asking for this is retail, this is a OWI third offense. We're asking for a $50,000 purchase bond. We're asking for an alcohol tether. We're asking for a tether with home arrest as well, and no driving, Your Honor, at all.
Okay, Mr. Bird, your response?
I didn't hear it. All I heard was tether, Your Honor.
Well, I repeat it for you because I heard it. $50,000 personal bond. He asked for an alcohol tether and a GPS tether, and no driving.
Yes, Your Honor. 33-year-old lifelong resident, Your Honor, indicates to us that he has 3 children. Respectfully, any amount of bond is going to be very difficult for my client to pay, but that's not the thing. We just arguing tether. We didn't have any indication that my client has a KPS history, Your Honor, and I do understand these allegations can be considered dangerous, but they are non-assaultive in nature and stem back to, I believe, 2023. But yep, the incident day happened roughly over a year ago now, so respectfully, we just gonna ask for a personal bond, Your Honor.
All right, $50,000 personal bond, no alcohol, no driving. It'll be fitted with an alcohol tether. Probable cause February 7th, preliminary examination February 12th, both in front of Judge Taylor. Step aside, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Hello, DDC.
Coming right now. Next.
What was the bond I gave for Miss Smith? Trevon Loman?
I want to say it was 10,000 personal or cash. Good question.
We're gonna do it right here. We're gonna take all the tab to it and then let's take a point. Yeah, what's up?
Right here.
Say your name. Just keep back in charge. That's my real name.
Can you repeat that and say it slowly, please? Say your name slowly.
Jesse McIntosh.
All right, Mr. McIntosh.
Yeah.
This is case number 250-443-0901. People State of Michigan versus Jesse McIntosh. Appearances, please.
Jennifer Douglas for the people, P72748.
Yes, Your Honor. Bring Bird on behalf of Jesse McIntosh. My client waived his right to formal reading. Was advised to well, no, he doesn't waive his right. He needs to formal reading, and will stand mute. But Your Honor, respectfully, we weren't able to hear my client due to believe my client has mental problems, and we're having difficulty anyway with the interview, but the cameras over on DDC is horrible. And when you have certain people, it's just unable to understand them.
Okay.
And we're unable to
Okay.
understand the interview.
Okay, let me read the complaint misdemeanor. Mr. McIntosh, you're charged with count 1 domestic violence. Did make an assault or assault and battery upon David Otis, a resident or former resident of your household, contrary to MCL 750.81 subparent 2. This is a 93-day misdemeanor, carries a fine of and or $500. A consecutive sentence may be imposed on the MCL 750.506A if the assault was committed in the place of confinement. Mr. Byrd, you previously waived your client stands mute. Read him the charges on bond argument from the people.
Your Honor, the people wouldn't object to 25,000 personal. We would ask for no contact. We believe Mr. McIntosh does have some special needs, possibly. So no objection to 25,000 personal and no contact.
No objection, Your Honor.
25,000 on a personal bond, Mr. McIntosh. You cannot have any contact with Mr. Otis.
Right. And every time I go in there,
does he have to your knowledge, Mr. Byrd, does he have an alternative place to stay?
What? Not sure, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. You can go back. No assaultive contact.
No. If somebody gives you some money and you tell them, the reason why I can't pay you is the person that's doing
Free trial, February 10th in front of Judge Garrett. Step aside, sir. Free trial, February 10th in front of Judge Garrett. Step aside.
Okay. Come in.
I'll see you on a few months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, you don't have a Kemp, Mr. Kemp?
Mr. Kemp will do tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you.
He's not at DDC.
Right?
Okay. You're welcome. Jack, the son. Last 2 cases of the day. Of the morning. Let's make it count.
Make it count.
All right, let's get started. What is your name, ma'am?
Samisha Young.
All right, Ms. Young, you have some traffic matters in which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants, give you a personal bond, and each of these misdemeanor matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney. One will be appointed for you. The tickets are P1362409 and proper plates. Driving on registered motor vehicle, no insurance misdemeanor. and ticket X 4267367, driving without any insurance and no valid plates. Pre-trial will be March 4th, in front of Judge King. Now to your main matter, calling case number 250-555-6001. Houston, Michigan versus Tanisha Young. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Wagner for the people.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Shamisha Young. My client waives the right to formal reading and was advised the constitutional right to stand mute.
Court will enter not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Young. Bond recommendation from the people.
People are asking for $5,000 personal bond.
No objection, Your Honor.
$5,000 personal bond, Ms. Young. Stay away from the Connor address. Stay away from that car wash. The report indicates that you were live streaming this allegedly on Facebook Live. Why anybody want to do that is beyond me. Be that as it's may, probable cause February 6th, preliminary examination February 13th, both in front of Judge Jefferson. Step aside, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's your name, ma'am?
Joyce Moore.
All right, Ms. Moore, you have some traffic matters which you failed to appear in court for. As a result of your failure to appear, warrants for arrest were issued. The court's going to set aside these arrest warrants, your personal bond, and each of these misdemeanor traffic matters that carries a maximum penalty of up to 93 days in jail and/or a $500 fine. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you. You have the right to an attorney. You can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed on your behalf. The tickets are P1429629, possession of drug paraphernalia. Ticket P1442833, driver license suspended. Ticket P1482295, open alcohol in motor vehicle. As I indicated, you've got a personal bond, no dollar amount, pre-trial, March 6th, in front of Judge Sean Perkins. Now to your main matter. It's calling case number 230452291. People say Michigan versus Joyce Moore. Appearances, please.
Samuel A. Wagner for the people, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Brandon Bird on behalf of Joyce Moore. The client waives the right to the formal reading and will stand mute.
All right, the court will continue the not guilty plea set by Ms. Moore. Mr. Bird, why should I not continue the $1,000 10% KPS bond set by Judge Bryant May 24th of last year?
Your Honor, my client indicates she was in jail from January 2024 to December 19th, 2024.
What jail?
Wayne County.
For a larceny charge, Your Honor.
Response from the people?
Well, Your Honor, you know, she's missed at least minimum of 3 court appearances she failed to appear. I mean, she got a number of chances. They took the cash bonds, made them personal bonds. If we could just add a tether, I'd have no problem to her getting a personal bond. But tether with home arrest, or she's working with a curfew, so she'll show up. That's all.
What 3 did she miss? I only see two. One January 4th of 2024, and the second one on May 23rd of 2024.
The on 1/18/24, she had $100 10% bond from 1/4/24. On 1/18/24, she got a $25,000 personal bond. And she had a personal bond, 9/14 when she was, maybe I'm corrected.
Was that a bond redetermination hearing?
Perhaps. I don't know. But I think a personal bond's fine, but you just want her to show up, Your Honor, and stay away from taking off.
Can't show up when you're in jail, Your Honor, but
That's
Let me
true.
look at some.
All right, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. $1,000 personal bond. Pre-trial February 10th in front of Judge Bryant. Ma'am, just show up for court and have this matter resolved. You can't go back to the Western Street address where this incident allegedly occurred. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes the morning docket. I'll see everybody else at 2:30.